Welcome to the All Around Joe podcast, where we optimize your human performance from my personal experience as an athlete, coach, and all-around self-improvement junkie. On this edition of the All Around Joe podcast, we're going to be talking about why I won't be going back to my gym anytime soon. Above and beyond the fact that I live in a van, I'm talking about why I'm not going to be going back to any gyms anytime soon. I'm just checking to make sure the audio levels sound good for this one. They should sound fantastico. But you can see right now, if you're watching this podcast, that I am in the van studio right now. Let me just clear that. The van studio parked in a driveway here in Enumclaw, Washington, where we've been staying for the last little while. But the van is a great place to record the podcast, so I still do it out here. We actually have the top popped. We've been doing some spring maintenance on the van by removing some of the rust that's come on, putting some new touch-up paint on there, sealing the pop top a little bit more, and just getting things ready for summer. We've also got the new bike rack on the back of the van here, ready to go mountain biking when we get the chance. Hopefully that will be coming up here really soon. In this podcast, though, I just want to get into some of the reasons why I'm not going to be going back to a gym setting anytime soon, and I don't necessarily think that you should either, unless you're going to take some precautions that are above and beyond what we're talking about in this podcast, because I'm not sure that the world is quite ready for that, but people are just so anxious and not thinking straight, but that's why we're here. We're here to help you think straighter, make better decisions, improve your life, because that's what we do. We think about these things. I think about these things all day long, and I'm here to help. All right, guys. So this podcast is actually brought to you by Perfect Amino and Body Health. Yes, it is not brought to you by the Get Better Project yet, but is brought to you by Perfect Amino and Body Health, which is my go-to amino acid supplement, because amino acids are used for rebuilding all kinds of things in your body. And the cool thing about these amino acids is that they get absorbed without having to go through your full digestive system if you're taking them at the right time. So I've noticed personally that I am about 70% less sore if I take these in an abundance at the right time. So that might be taking them before my workout on an empty stomach and 30 minutes before I would eat anything else. So pretty much what you have to do is take it first thing in the morning and then work out first thing in the morning, or you're going to have your breakfast, wait 2 hours, and then you would take your Perfect Amino. Or another way that I've been doing it is I would have my breakfast or have my first meal. Usually I'm intermittent fasting, so my first meal is like at 11 a.m. or 12 p.m. And then what would happen is I would do my workout, which would take about an hour or so, and then I would have my Perfect Aminos after, which isn't the ideal setup and not the ideal way of doing it, because ideally you want to have those amino acids flowing through your blood already, but it is a way to adjust so that you're still getting the most bang for your buck out of the amino acids. You've just stimulated your body from the workout, and you're going to help it recover really quickly by having those Perfect Aminos right then. So if you want to head over to allaroundjoe.com/perfectamino, and it will shoot you right to the Body Health site, and then you can use the code allaroundjoe to get yourself a discount. I take these things like candy, guys. I recommend them to everybody in my life. My mom, my dad both take them. Everybody that I can get to take them, I recommend taking them. I mean, even if you're not necessarily all that active, it's still going to be a great way of getting some high quality amino acids, which are proteins. So the essential amino acids will combine to make proteins, and that's how you make proteins. And that's why these are so important, because pretty much a majority of our body is made up of proteins or amino acids in some configuration. And the cool thing about it is that it doesn't have to go through the full digestive process, so it's easier on your body. And they're all of the essential amino acids, so they are the building blocks for everything that your body needs. You don't need to eat or combine anything else to create that, which is not, there's not a lot in nature that is like that. So you're basically hacking the system by getting Perfect Aminos. I highly recommend going to allaroundjoe.com/perfectamino, using the code allaroundjoe to get yourself a discount, or using the discount that they have offered on their site. A lot of times they're doing even bigger discounts. But like I said, I buy these things like crazy, and I recommend that you do as well. If you have any questions about that, let me know, or check out their site. They've got a ton of information on there. It's all formulated by a doctor, and I really recommend it. All right, here are the reasons that I will not be headed into the gym anytime soon. The first reason that I have is that it's not clear how this virus is spread when we are breathing hard. And the only example that we have is this choir practice or singing practice that happened in the last few weeks, or, a few weeks ago. At least it's been being published recently, about how, let's see, the percentage is 87% of the people in that room contracted the virus. So I'm not convinced that singing is that much different than breathing hard. And in these gyms, they're telling you that you have to have the social distancing set up. And to me, that 6-foot social distancing or 10-foot square, whatever they're doing there, is not going to be that effective if people are breathing really hard. I don't know about you, but when I go to a CrossFit or one of these high intensity training gyms, I am breathing really hard. And that guy next to you, he's throwing sweat around like crazy. So it's not unheard of to have somebody from across the room have sweat fly onto you. So if that's something that you're cool with, then you go ahead and you go to the gym. But to me, it's not worth it to be one of these first people that is going to go and test this out, especially when they've got so much available to us right here. I mean, I could work out in the van effectively if I need to. I've done it before. Just grab a couple of bands or not bands, just utilize the Get Better Project and you're good to go. So I'm not going to be the one that's going to be charging down the door to test out if this theory is working, because to me, just the common sense of it, if we know that singing is something that can spread the virus quickly, then breathing hard or heavy breathing the way that I do during a workout is going to also do that same thing. I'm breathing harder than if I was going to be singing. So there's something in that, and there's something that you should consider there. The other thing is that a lot of these gyms are testing people, or maybe not a lot of them, but I've heard of gyms that are testing people's temperature when they walk in the door. I'm not 100% sure how they do this. I'm guessing it's going to be a finger temperature type of situation where either they're able to test it and then they're able to sanitize it really quickly and then do the next person. But let's imagine that you have a 5 p.m. class and you've got, minimum 10 people coming in the door, maybe maximum 20 people coming in the door, and you've got to quickly be testing them, and you've got to be making sure that you are not getting yourself exposed, and you've got to be resanitizing this testing thing and making sure that everybody's temperature is normal. And if it's not normal, then you've got to send them out or send them home and hope that they didn't expose anybody that was right there. And the other thing is that we don't even know that everybody's temperature is going to be raised if they have the virus, because some people are asymptomatic, but they're still going to be spreading the virus and not having temperature. So we have to take all of these risks, but we can't really solve the problem. So unless you're able to actually do a 3-minute test for the virus in and of itself via the nose swab or the blood or whatever they're doing these days, we don't really know. So I'm not going to be a first inhabitor into these gyms to go and test this system out for them. And I can't believe that there's people that are running to do this right now and think that it's 100% totally cool. I mean, maybe you've just been doing nothing when you're sitting at home, but I don't know why you're doing nothing when you have such good programs available to you right now with so much good information, and you can just it's been also that the equipment has been freeing itself up. So you're able to actually get more equipment. Not that you needed it necessarily. I mean, y'all should have been creative and fill up some paint buckets or some gallon jugs of milk that you had laying around and use those for weights. I mean, it's not like you needed to have this particular equipment. So I don't really get it. But anyway, the third thing is that you can get super fit at home. We've had a whole world of people that are getting incredibly fit. I actually am posting up a testimonial post on the Get Better Project Instagram tomorrow that shows Luke, one of our members that has just been doing at-home training for the last few months in the Get Better Project, and he has incredibly completely changed his body from like somebody that you would not even recognize to like a super fit, jacked looking dude in just the small amount of time that we've been stuck at this in the stay-at-home, environment. So it's 100% capable. You are 100% capable of doing this. He only has a couple of kettlebells and dumbbells, and that's it. That's all he's got. He's got a little patio porch. He's even stuck in Turkey where he couldn't leave his apartment. Like, at least here, we're okay to leave our apartment. We've got this great house. We can go in the driveway. We can go in the backyard. We can go run around on the streets. We can do whatever we want, really. We're just trying to stay away from people. He's locked in his house, and he's getting these amazing results. So And other people around the world should have noticed that you don't need to go to a gym in order to get these great results. And it's actually incredibly cool that you can connect with people, right? I literally just today for our workout, we did the workout with my parents and my sister and my brother-in-law just by texting my mom saying, hey, we're going to do a workout right now. Do you guys want to join us? And she's like, sure, I'm going to head over to your sister's house and we're going to do it together. 10 minutes later, we were all on a Zoom call and we were doing the workout together. We went through the warm-up. We talked about the workout. We did the workout together. We high-fived at the end and then we parted our ways. So is it absolutely as cool as doing it when you're right next to the person? Not 100%, but it is really cool. It's not that far behind, in my opinion. It's maybe like 75% of the way because you're still getting to communicate. You can put up a nice big screen so you can see what they're doing. The only thing is you can't really smell them and you can't give them the virus. It's really cool. But we can do this with people all over the world. That's the other thing, is that I would not, even if we didn't have this environment of the virus, today I would not have done that workout with them. I would not have driven an hour and a half where they live to go do the workout with them. But because I can text, and with technology the way that it is, and because we've been having to adapt so quickly in the last couple of months, now that's kind of like a cool thing that we can do. We can just say, hey, I'm going to do this workout. You in? Sure. Here's the link. All right. And we'll put it up on the screen and we'll do the workout together. We can talk about it. We can do strategies. We can talk about form. If anybody has any questions about anything, we can go over it right there. It's incredibly cool and it's super easy. All right. The next thing is that for a few gym payments, you could have a legit at-home gym for yourself. And you've already got the equipment for this Zoom setup. I mean, you may not have the tripod, which I'd recommend that everybody get. One of these tripods, $30 on Amazon. I'm not sure if those are being sold out right now. It might take a little bit more time to get one because of the delays that are having with the shipping, but you can still probably get an Amazon Basics tripod for $30 with a phone or iPad adapter, and you're 100% set to go. It's like a high quality, good to go tripod type thing too. I've had a couple of them and none of them have broken in like 3 years. So you could get one of those and you'd be all set up for these Zoom workouts. It's super duper cool. And most people's phones these days are even waterproof. So if it starts raining like it did on us today, you had a waterproof phone and it didn't really even matter. So for a few $100s, most people, if they're going to a CrossFit gym, are probably paying, $100 to $200 a month anyway, unless you're in one of the bigger major cities, and then you're probably paying even more than that. So you could get yourself a handful of dumbbells, a kettlebell, you get some bands, you could even get yourself a sandbag if you wanted to, and you would only have been paying for like a month or two of what your gym membership would have been, but you're going to have this stuff for the rest of your life, essentially, unless you want to sell it or, get rid of it at some point because you're not doing your at-home workouts. But I recommend that you do your at-home workouts and you stick with it, because we've found that you can get just incredibly fit. Like I've been getting this and getting incredibly fit and doing this, and I feel like I'm in the best shape I've been in a long time right now by just using 2 50-pound dumbbells and a 70-pound kettlebell and some bands. Oh, and I have a jump rope too, right? Just these very essential things. I'm actually thinking, and I would really like to, I've been talking about it for a while, adding a couple 70-pound kettlebells to my program. So I'm just going to add, a couple more pieces, and those will actually come with us in the van once we start living in the van full time again, because it's super easy and super convenient and doesn't take up that much space. So I'm adding 140 extra pounds, and I can use that for even more stuff. I mean, we're able to do a lot of these modified strength movements by using tempos and getting creative with how we're doing the movements, using single leg or single arm movements to increase how it feels for our body and getting just about as much out of it. I mean, it's not that we have to go and do 1-rep maxes in order to get, the maximum amount of fitness for ourselves or for the average person. If we can slow it down, get ourselves down to, 5 reps or even explosive reps, we're still going to hit that strength component, and we're still going to have that transfer in to these higher number movements if we want to go back to doing that. It's not like you even need it. I went and tested my clean the other day, and I was incredibly surprised that I hit like 90% of my 1-rep max clean. I hadn't cleaned in, I'm talking a barbell clean, full squat clean, I hadn't even cleaned it in at least 6 months. Not even a bit, hardly even touched a barbell, because every once in a while we would go into a gym and we'd, if we were in a gym, we'd get to do a barbell movement. I usually would pick just like a heavy deadlift because I feel like the heavy deadlift is about the most functional and bang for your buck movement that you can possibly do. So if I get the chance to pick up something heavy, I almost always do it. It makes pretty much my whole rear chain of my body sore, and see improvements like crazy in, everything except for maybe your chest. But we could probably argue that you could see some improvements in your chest too, just because your hormones were being so positively improved by doing a heavy deadlift. But anyway, for just a few $100s a month, you get dumbbells, like 50-pound dumbbells, when you can find them, which they're starting to loosen up right now, are usually not that much more than $1 a pound. Look for them on Rogue, look for them on Amazon, look for them on Walmart, actually. You're just looking for rubber hex dumbbells, and you can find them. Or people are going to be selling them right now, because there's a bunch of people that had a bunch of money that went out and bought a bunch of them at the start of this thing, and they realized that they're too lazy to actually do the workouts, and they're selling them now. So go buy them from them. I actually run the Seattle CrossFitters group. So if you're in the Seattle or Pacific Northwest area, you go and post there and find some stuff. We found actually a pretty much brand new Rogue Echo bike for $100 less than what somebody bought it for, and it was used like 3 times by going through the Seattle CrossFitters group on Facebook. So go check that out if you want to get some new equipment, or, you never know who you're going to ask. There are definitely people out there, though, that are selling these things off of Marketplace. You just have to kind of ask around, because don't go pay like above market price unless it's really close to above market price for these things. There are people out there that have these pieces of equipment in their basements that they're not using. They'd be happy to get off of their bottom line or get some money for them, and they don't realize that they're worth money right now. They really don't. So or that they could potentially sell them for more than what they're worth, and who knows what they're even worth right now. If they had some dumbbells sitting in their garage for the last 3 or 5 years and they had never used them. So that's what we're talking about as far as what you should be paying your money for. Another thing is that, I don't know about you guys, but I am over traffic. Like, I live in a van. I drive around not full time, we spend a lot of time in places, but we tend to avoid traffic. But every once in a while, we've got to get back into a city or something like that, or we're visiting people in Seattle, and we have to do the traffic thing. It is the biggest waste of time I could imagine. Like, if you asked me and told me that I had to come up with what I thought was the biggest waste of time in everybody's life, I would say it's sitting in traffic or commuting. All right? The only little saving grace to that is if pretty much every time that you're in your car, stuck in traffic or commuting, if you're using that time to learn. So you're listening to an audiobook or some sort of course to learn during that particular time. Otherwise, it's not worth it at all. It is the biggest waste of time. Even if you're spending that time learning, I would say that there's going to be a point when you are not learning, or you don't want to learn anymore. You want to put those things into action, or you want to spend that time with people. And there's so many people that have an hour plus commute each way. So that's 2 hours a day. Oh my gosh. It's like, what are you thinking? Change something, do something different, move. So I don't think it's worth it, not even driving to a gym on a regular basis anymore. So that's another thing. It's like, I've seen the light. I don't want to go back. I want to be able to walk, 20 yards to where I have my dumbbells in the driveway and do the workout right there. And if I want to connect with friends, hey, let's get on a Zoom call. Let's do it that way. Or, one of these other things, once the social distancing lets up, we're just going to go and have like training camps. We're going to go get together. We're going to have people over for the weekend, and we're going to work out with them like that. And it doesn't cost anything. In fact, it's going to be super fun, and we can all bring equipment over and have a great time, and actually be more fun than going and spending this stressful time that we had to battle traffic to get to the gym. So that's another reason why I'm not going to be going back to the gym. And you could argue, like, you don't go back to the gym anyway. We don't, but we did go to gyms now and again, and we're not going to do that. Even once this thing opens back up, I think that it's going to have to be super cleared up. And I can't see any reason why, if we have to go through these measures of standing in boxes or wearing masks while we're actually working out, that we would go until, who knows, a year, 2 years down the road, that this thing is completely cleared up and you can go back to being normal, high-fiving, spitting on each other, or sweating on each other in the gym. That would be the only way. So I'm not sure why people are running back there. And, the only thing that I could think of is if you have specific time slots where, like, all right, you've got a pretty damn big gym, and you can go in almost by yourself or with your particular family group for that particular hour. So like they're renting out the gym almost exclusively, and it almost have to be exclusively, because I don't know if you're sweating and working really hard and you're on one side of the gym and someone else is on the other side of the gym. Is that far enough? I mean, there's air floating around. Like, you have any kind of air system, like, in Arizona, and you have air conditioning going, that's going to be blowing all of your breath and whatnot all around the area. So, and I don't know. Here's the thing. I'm not a scientist. I don't know if this is actually true. I'm just speculating. I'm trying to use my brain. And I think that a lot of people forget to use their actual brain for whatever reason. They've got their phone, so they think that's their brain. But nope, you got to keep on thinking. So these are just things that I'm thinking of. And you might be also saying, well, you've got this online at-home program that you're trying to pitch all the time. And I'm like, yeah, because it's super awesome. We're seeing people transform their lives, not only from a health or from a fitness workout standpoint, but from a complete health and lifestyle thing. I mean, we're working with people through their stresses by actually talking about what they're stressed about, not just by like, oh, you worked out, so you're decreased stress. Nope, we get into that. We're like, oh, what are you stressed about? And then we actually go down that path. If you think that a fitness professional is not really good at motivating people and figuring out how to de-stress people and working through their problems, you're nuts. Because as a personal trainer spending, like 15 years in the industry of doing that, I was better at working through people's problems with them than I was at training them. Literally, like 100%. Because when people come in and hire you as a personal trainer, they're hiring you to talk about their problems. They're not hiring you to get them in shape. Most people, when you're personal training them, do not get in shape because they don't come to you to work hard. They don't want to work hard. They just want to talk with someone and feel better, because it's my job to make them feel better. I don't make them feel better by working out. I mean, they move and that helps them to feel better, but they're not like busting it out, getting like six-pack abs. Those are the people that are actually following the program, working hard. And when you hire a personal trainer, that doesn't usually happen. They just want to have a buddy to kind of go around with, and they're worried about getting hurt on their own or something like that, and they want to talk with somebody. So you're talking about their feelings. Like, you know more about a person, if you're personal training them, than probably their spouse does. I mean, it's nuts, the things that people tell you. So you have to be like a shrink for them. And after doing that for years and years and years, we become really good at helping people through their problems. Can you believe it? So if we're talking about all these things and we have all this spectrum, we can really help people out. But like I said, follow another program. I don't mind. I'm just here to tell you to get yourself in shape. And I am not going to be going back to a gym because I do not think it is the best place for my health or yours. There it is. The last thing that I wanted to talk about is that I hate to say it, but I don't trust people as a whole community. I think there's people out there making really bad choices, and they're going to be going to these gyms when they're sick or they're not feeling well, and they just don't care. They're like, I am more important to myself, but I'm not more important to myself enough to do healthy things. So you do get people going to the gym. It's like, high five, you went to the gym, but then they're going and drinking beer all weekend long, and they're just not eating right, and they don't do, positive things. So I don't think that people are going to make really great choices as a whole. I think that if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably making good choices because you want to actually make yourself better, and that's what we're all talking about, is like being safe, being healthy, getting better, and improving ourselves. But I don't think that the majority of people are going to be making those positive choices. And if they're not making those positive choices, that means that they are putting you into harm's way. And if you're a person that really cares about that, you're probably not going to be going to the gym anyway. So I don't know why I'm talking about this. So there you have it. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to put this out there. I don't usually put out news style things like this onto the podcast, so let me know what you thought about it, if you thought it was just garbage or what. But I like to come out with the podcast every week and keep you guys informed. And if you want to hear more about like fitness stuff, as I'm going through these podcasts, I'm learning that I have 250. This is 250th podcast that I've done. So I've gone over a lot of stuff already. Like in my archive, if you go back and look at the 250 podcasts, you can find me talking about just about everything that I can think of. So I'm having to like repurpose it or, say it in a different way. And I know that different people will find different things said or different things. If I say things differently, it'll hit people in different times. Or maybe you listen to the same topic of podcast a year ago, and because you're in a different place in your life, it hits you differently and it makes a bigger impact. That happens to me all the time when I reread books. There are certain times that I read a book and I'm like, I just didn't connect with that And then I reread it a year, 2, 3 years later, and it totally hits me and changes my life. So there's always that comes into play. But anyway, I just want to put out this kind of news thing, and I seen like a lot of people talking about going back to the gym, and I just want to let you know there's no way I'm getting anywhere close to a gym for, months probably. So unless we have it come back that everybody's going to the gym and, come around July 1st or something like that, we have a bunch of reports out that the numbers of infected people are declining and continue to decline, and it seems like there's nothing that we can do to get us out of that decline, like it's not going to turn itself back around, then maybe I will reconsider it. But it's not going to be, it's May 20th right now when I'm recording this. It's not going to be anytime soon. I would say early July is going to be the absolute earliest that I would even probably consider that. So give me your thoughts. Let me know what you're thinking. Am I crazy? Maybe, and that's all right. These are my opinions, my podcast, and I hope that you are getting something out of it. If you weren't sure about whether or not to go to the gym, this is why I am not doing it and not recommending it for anybody that I talk to. So there you have it. I hope you got something out of this, and I hope that we can help each other be safer, healthier, more fit, more awesome, better looking, all of that fun stuff. There you have it. All right, guys, if you did want to check out the Get Better Project, we give away 30 days free by going to getbetterproject.com/30 days. I highly recommend that if you are a hard-charging worker outer, if you want to be healthier, that you check out Perfect Aminos, which is the number one recovery supplement that I take. It's probably the number one health supplement as well. But you can go to allaroundjoe.com/perfectamino and use the code allaroundjoe to get yourself 10% off, I believe, or just use the code that's on the site. Don't feel like you have to use my code in order to, help me out. I think you can still use their code, get 30 whatever percent off they're offering at that particular time. I know a lot of companies are offering heavy discounts right now because they're having trouble moving products that would normally be placed in gyms. So I recommend that you still order those things for yourself online. And Body Health Perfect Amino is a great thing to spend your money on. All right, guys, there you have it. If you want to check out the show notes for this podcast or subscribe to any of my social media or anything like that, or get on the Feel Good Friday emails, which I send out every single Friday, and I highly recommend that you do, head over to allaroundjoe.com, and the show notes for this podcast are allaroundjoe.com/250. That's 250. All right, guys, I'm here for you. If you need anything, just shoot me an email, joe@allaroundjoe.com. I will absolutely get back to you, and that is all I have. The All Around Joe podcast, we optimize your human performance from my personal experience as an athlete, coach, and all-around self-improvement junkie. I will see you